the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, thank you. Mr. Wilson, where are we today?
Judge, I believe we've got an agreement on temporary managing conservatorship for the department. I don't think anyone's discussed details on anything else, but I would imagine the standard service plan or predictable service plans are what we would be agreed on. And then, of course, we'll be asking to keep the child placed where he is for now.
Okay, where is, Austin Place?
He's in foster care. I don't know the exact location.
Okay. Okay, department general area, please.
I want to say the greater Austin area, the northern suburbs or something. Does that sound about right, Ms. Mouton?
No, it's in Bell County.
Ah.
Well, nowadays that's getting to be the northern Austin.
Well, yeah, sure. That's what I meant.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's probably easier to get to. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, let me look at my hearing from last time. Parents UA hair strain and nail test. Did that happen, Mr. Wilson?
I know it happened for the father. I don't know. I don't think it did for the mother. Last I knew, the father's hair and nail tests both came back positive for amphetamine and methamphetamine, which is one reason we're agreed today.
Okay. Ms. Potts, did your client do that?
Your Honor, the best we could do and what we did was she was going to her medical doctor and she also needed to get her psychotropic medicines. And so at that time they did a UA for her and it was clean. And Miss McCary is working on trying to get her in for the hair strand, but they have one vehicle between them and it is a challenge in addition to that. So she has made progress and we're working on it. You know, she did get her medicine and so we're hoping things will level out.
So basically the answer to my question is no.
She did a UA.
No, she didn't. If she didn't do it through like everybody else did, like Mr. Ellison did.
That's right. She did not.
Yeah. So no, she didn't. She hasn't done that for the other case either, right, y'all?
As far as I know, Judge, that's right.
Okay. Okay. The last time I ordered that mom was to provide the results of her doctor drug test that Ms. Potts talked about to the court by 3 o'clock on 6/19/24. Did that happen, Ms. Potts?
No, Your Honor, it did not. And I think Miss McCary and I both are working on trying to get that done. I don't know if she has additional information or not, but we did meet with our client on Friday.
Okay. Bible, armpit medication, and phone was to be provided to the parents, to the CASA office by June 20th. Did that happen, Ms. Gilson?
It's late. It's in my office, Judge.
Okay, you can walk it over there in just a minute. Right?
He brought everything that he knows to bring, and I'll bring it over after court today.
Okay. Parents are not to be living together. Is that going on?
As of Friday, that was going on, as far as we knew, Judge.
And we'd like to talk about that today, Judge, but that was the order, yes.
Parents tracking to be turned off also. Guess if they're living together, it doesn't really matter if they're tracking each other, does it? Parents Zoom or phone call 2 times a week. Have a department, have they been Zooming or calling for 15 minutes each?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I guess Mother Miss Fernandez did not provide her psychological evaluation to Ms. Potts. For everybody to read, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, what do y'all want to talk about?
Judge, I sent over a proposed agreement last night at 7:46. If we could talk through that and get the parties' pulse on where we're heading, that might be helpful.
Okay, hold on real quick. Ms. Potts, your client, I have approved the application for court-appointed attorney, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And remember, you need to get it on both cases. I think I sent an email about that, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Ellison's was approved a couple of weeks ago. So, okay, Ms. Lane, go on.
So, Your Honor, we agree with TMC to the department. For the record.
Hold on a second. Mommy guessed I don't think I've ever seen that. Miss Potts, I guess that's your client, but she needs to change that next time.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Sorry, go on, Miss Lane.
That's okay, Judge. Austin Senior is on Austin Junior's birth certificate, and he is the father. They are not married. There is no Native American heritage. There's no other court of continuing jurisdiction. We're asking the court, since Austin did go, he did his drug test. He had a dilute on his UA, and it was positive on the hair and nails for meth. We're asking for 2 clean UAs instead of the standard 3 for in-person supervised visits. He is very much enjoying the 2 times a week virtual visits and would like for those to continue. Judge, we're going to ask, evidently, the parties told me, because I'm late to the game, that there was a stay away order. And I guess that was in what you just read off of your docket sheet. I don't know that I saw it in the temporary order that Susan sent me. I'll go back through it. I've been looking for something in writing that Austin would have been given that told.
That was in the other case.
This is an extension. What I just read you is in the extension of the emergency order from the 6/18 hearing.
Okay, got it, Judge.
So, I don't know if I've signed that. Ms. Gonzalez will be able to tell me to say more, but
well,
yeah,
That was in the other case.
right.
and
Well, in the original case, I mean, I'm just cleaning some stuff up. We are on board to do TMC. We acknowledge we did not do the hair strand on time, and we're here today. But I'm still saying I've never seen anything in writing except for Victoria's notice of removal of children. It said the original removal of Austin into foster care was because not following court-ordered services and allowing the alleged perpetrator to be around the child. So he's never, and I'd love to see it if anybody can produce it for me, because we're going forward. I just need to have my record clean. There's never been anything in writing given to Austin that said he wasn't allowed to bring little Austin around Krista after the twins were gone that we've seen. So I just want y'all to be clear. We know he didn't follow the court order service in the fact that he did not do his hair test. So beyond that, we want definitely virtual visits to continue, random drug testing per the color scheme, and to be tested at Marble Falls. And on the living together, Judge, Austin is 100% committed to getting his own house. He just doesn't have the pile of money it takes for a down payment, not a down payment, a deposit, getting the utilities turned on. He's fully intentional. He's been looking through everything within about a 30-45 mile radius of Kingsland. We intend not to let mom know where he's going to be. And he's got the vehicle, so I don't know how she's going to figure this out for transportation, but he is intentional to leave, but he can't do it today, Judge. So if we could just have the kids are not at home, let these adults figure it out and go their separate ways or however they're going to do this. Most importantly, get sober and get their child home. He'll provide care items as requested by placement, CPS, and the items. He did bring me a backpack of some items I'll take over to Julie today. And he is prepared to do his OSAR. We actually could get him called today whenever we hang up, as long as Jacinda tells me we're supposed to call Bluebonnet. I don't want to get lost between the Llano and the Marble Falls people, but that's where we are today, Judge.
Is everything that he brought over in the backpack, is that the stuff that I previously ordered?
He said that he already has the armpit stuff. He brought me a Bible. There is a basketball that is a unique one to him that he had specially made for him a year ago. There are there's like a walkie-talkie thing and some earbuds that also he thought he might like to have. Yeah. There are no special notes or hidden anything in there. There's a little keychain that Isaiah made him, I believe. Yeah. But the armpit stuff there, I said walkie-talkie, and the armpit thing, you don't have it at the house.
Our first face-to-face with Austin, it was in the backpack. Our first one, yeah.
The first time they visited, it was in the backpack. Whenever they had the first face-to-face, the removal visit.
Okay, Ms. Gilson, be sure and just see what we can find out about that. Okay, Ms. Potts.
Your Honor, we would concur with everything that Ms. Lang said, although my client would like it noted for the record that she still believes she was wrongfully accused. When we met on Friday, she did understand that she needed to follow the court's orders and the service plan in order to get her children back.
Okay. Ms. Gilson? Ma'am? What do you need? What do you need?
I have concerns. Nobody has said anything about this yet, but I had concerns about Austin trying to sabotage his current placement and talking with his mom on the phone. Those were concerns over the weekend, and not sure exactly how to address that.
Or does one happen after the other, or what?
I'm not sure about the timing. I know that he is telling fabricated stories about what's happening at placement, and it's making them nervous.
The placement is making him nervous?
No, he's making the placement nervous because he's telling things, saying that, you know, they're doing things to him to wake him up, and he told a story about that he was on their ATV, and the ATV flipped over and flipped twice, and he didn't have a seatbelt and all that. He's telling people at their church these stories. Then the story changed, and it was he and his dad were on an ATV, and it flipped over and then caught on fire, and just some untrue stories that he's telling about the caregivers, that they're not taking good care of him, and that is a concern to me. I just think we need to be aware of that instead of assuming that everything he says is accurate. And then he was talking to his mom.
Or show off, or
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to be aware.
Are these Miss Potts, your client needs to show her face if she's going to be here. I'm real tired of her not playing by the rules. And I don't know. We have no proof if she has mental issues, if she's on meth, nothing. So it's not the way it works.
I understand, Judge. I'll let her know.
Oh, now she showed her face. So, well, okay, Miss Gilson, I can't remember if I asked this question or if I had to get diverted by the mother. Are they first-time foster family?
It sounds like it. I'm not sure. I did have one other request.
Okay.
I think given the high number on the Austin Senior, a high number on his drug test, I think we need to have the children tested.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Miss Wright.
I want little Austin to get into therapy if he hasn't already, because it sounds like he was telling the other families or people at church that, borderline on abuse from the foster family. And then I think they've only caught him talking to mom on the phone one time, and so they don't really know if it's before or after, or how often that's going on. The placement did say she's going to kind of put some rules on the phone, but she wanted that in writing, that it was okay for her to do that. And I think Jeanette took care of that. I think that Mr. Ellison needs to go to inpatient. His methamphetamine level was like 200,000. That's really, really, really high. So that's what I would be asking, Judge, for him to be ordered into inpatient. And mom just needs to get on board or not. She hadn't done anything that the court has asked her to do. And I'm guessing her drug test would be just as high if we had one. But kids are doing good, so there's that.
Judge, I would just ask that the OSAR guide the ship. Mr. Ellison is the only one making any money at this point in time. He shares with me that he's not used since the time the twins were removed. So I think he can put his money where his mouth is, get some clean UA, start seeing his kid go through OSAR and get rocking and rolling. He's followed up on everything we've asked him to do since I've been assigned to represent him.
Judge, could we then get a segmented hair strand so we can see if he was using while he was placement?
So they had to do body hair on him because his noggin doesn't have any hair, and the body hair, I don't think you can segment it. It goes back a year, but he's happy to go do it, I'm sure, but I don't know. I mean, segmented would still show it's been within 30 days, right? So, when was the original removal? Because that's when he says was the last time he consumed.
It was more than 30 days ago.
I don't have a
I
time.
believe it was.
Okay.
I can look because I was just looking when the status is. TMC was 520. Oh yeah, you're right. It was more than 30. Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'll do whatever y'all need him to do. I just don't know that it's going to be possible because they took his arm hair to get the hair strand.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Let's see.
And Judge, remembering every time we've had teaching and training from Marcus Casada, he said levels don't matter. They're positive or they're negative. And then
but I can't. Yeah, I remember that about a month ago, but I'm not going around at 200,000. Okay, hold on. Miss Wright, you want the big boys tested too?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but
all of them.
How are we going to do that in New Mexico?
Well, we talked about maybe having Mr. Fernandez go to Amarillo with them. I think that's the closest big border town from them, and do the test.
Would he do it?
I don't know. We CPS and Costa and I had talked about it, but we hadn't had a chance to talk to Mr. Fernandez yet.
Mr. Fernandez, could you do that? Is that too far for you to go? You're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is
Hear me now?
how far is Amarillo from you?
Well, I meant when I talked to Jeanette, I told her Lubbock. That's exactly halfway between where y'all are at and where I'm at. It's about 5.5 hours from me.
Where is the closest town in Texas to where you are?
The closest town? Geez.
El Paso?
I would have to say Amarillo maybe, but that's a little further from y'all. So.
Oh no, I mean we're talking about doing it in a lab close to you.
Oh, close to me? Yeah, it would be Amarillo.
Okay. Is that what y'all are talking about, Miss Ochoa, or where is Miss Ochoa here?
She's
I'm covering for Miss Ochoa, Judge. And
Okay.
yes, we're discussing.
Are y'all you're filling in for her?
Yes, ma'am. I've been on all her visits for the case.
Okay. I'm gonna say all boys submit to hair strand. So Mr. Wilson will need a special order for that for the Hernandez children.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna say boys submit to hair strand per CPS. Okay, so here's what the order is gonna be so far. Hold on. My understanding, the parents have agreed to temporary management conservatorship with the department. The status hearing is going to be 7/17. I know that's quick and real quick, like 16 days, but that's the same day as the big boys, and it's stupid to piecemeal. And we already know what service plan is there, so we'll just probably make it service plan here. That's up to y'all. I don't know if y'all had a family group conference or not, but maybe y'all can get one in between now and then. Parents after today, like I just said, there'll be a meeting called a family group conference, and that's where your services are developed. And the services are things that you have to do to get Austin back home. I tell everybody at every hearing, you have to comply with your service plan or your parental rights could be subject to termination. So it's real important that y'all be involved in that. Here's the rules about the phone. And I hate kids on cell phones all the time. I hate kids on electronics all the time. It creates a huge mess, whether they're at my house, your house, foster home, anywhere. Foster parents to have the child's phone when it's not in use. Only apps can be on it as approved by CPS and items. No phone without proper behavior. If he's talking about, these kind of things, that is not proper behavior, whether he's at home or wherever he is. So if he's talking smack like that, then, he needs to be grounded from the phone. He doesn't need to have it. And these are my rules, not the foster parents' rules. So y'all make them real clear that the mean old judge did this, because mean old judge hates 10-year-olds on phones all the time. Hates any kids on phones all the time. So, and especially if you're not doing your chores, you're not passing class, you're have to be acting right. You don't get a phone if you're not doing all that. Phone off is for 30 minutes before bedtime. The fosters are to have the phone during bedtime, and it's only used for 15 minutes within an hour. So if I got like 8 to 9, I can use it for 15 minutes, but that's it. I'm not going to be on the phone for 24 hours a day. It's ridiculous. Parents are to comply with the OSAR recommendations. All the boys, the big boys and Austin are submit to a hair strand test as arranged by the department. Y'all get with Mr. Fernandez and get that set up as close to him as possible. Parents are to provide personal effects for Austin as requested by CPS and items or placement. Y'all, that means if Austin needs a new bathing suit or new tennis shoes or a new phone or whatever, that's y'all's responsibility. If y'all don't do that, but between now and July 17th, I'll just order flat out child support. So that's easy. All phone calls are to be supervised by CPS and items and or placement. So we won't have any we won't have any violation of the rules. If the appropriate conversations are not had during these times, then that respective parent just doesn't get to talk again until further order of the court. So we'll stop that. Mr. Ellison can visit after 2 clean consecutive UAs. That's in person. Ms. Fernandez can visit when she complies with my prior order. And then all the visits for everybody to be supervised and is agreed by CPS and items. Ms. Fernandez, during the pendency of this case, and the last case, you're not supposed to dye your hair or cut your nails. And it looks like you have new hair color. And somebody has sent me a text that you have your nails done. So, Ms. Potts, I don't know if you're not playing by that rule or what the deal is there, but
No, I haven't.
Department, does her hair look different than y'all seen her in the past, or does it look the same?
It's the same. I use a lightening, like a lightener, like a conditioner and shampoo that has like a hair, like a toner in it. That's all I use. I've never dyed my hair.
Okay.
Never.
Department, what do y'all think? Do y'all know?
It looks like she washed it, Judge. It's the same color that I've observed.
It is. Okay. Well, just make sure that, because that's already been in the prior order.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Wilson, what else do y'all need?
Couple of things, Judge. You haven't mentioned it, but Ms. Lang did. I don't think the department cares whether they live together or not at this point. Last time we were here, that was to possibly give Mr. Ellison a chance to avoid a TMC case, but here we are. So like most cases, I think as far as the department's concerned, they can live together or not, and he'll have to make decisions for his future based on what he thinks is best for himself, of course. Let's see. Judge, speaking of Mr. Fernandez, we'd like to extend those boys' visit out there with him longer, and we'd like to get an expedited ICPC for Mr. Fernandez going. That's been going well out there. And then the last thing is whether or not we need to consolidate these two different cases. They're certainly tangled up together. We talk about them both, no matter which case we're here on. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I don't care if mom and dad live together. I mean, everybody's broken the rules so far. So what difference does it make at this point in time? I mean, and they're both going to have to do service plans in both cases. So And if they live together, maybe one can make the other one do their service plan. So maybe then the boys can go back home. I don't know. I agree with you, Mr. Wilson. Consolidate. I don't really think that's a bad idea. Miss Wright, what do you think?
I think it makes sense, Judge. Absolutely. I mean, same evidence, same parents.
Lawyers, y'all have any questions? And Miss McCary, I forgot to ask you any questions or anything. Sorry, kind of backpedaling.
I don't.
Okay. Miss Potts, Miss Lang, y'all have any problems consolidating?
Not a bit.
No, Your Honor.
Good call. Okay, consolidation, living together. What was the other one you said, Mr. Wilson?
Let's see. For the boys in New Mexico, Judge, placed with Mr. Hernandez.
That's fine.
Thank you. Yes, both of those extending the visit and expedited.
Yes.
Okay.
And expedited out of state. Good luck there, but hey, we can always try.
Sure.
Right. I think that'll need a standalone order, but you can get with the department on that one.
Okay. Yes.
Potts, what do y'all need?
Your Honor, I believe it's been addressed.
Okay, thank you. Miss Lang?
Judge, I think we covered everything on our to-do list. Thank you.
Okay. Casa, y'all need anything else?
No, ma'am. Everything's been covered.
Okay. Miss Wright?
No, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Miss McCary, anything else? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Y'all stressed Miss Fernandez. I mean it. Mr. Ellison, bam, he got on it pretty quick, you know? I mean, it was not it was not exactly like the order, but he did get it done. And, you know, I'm real tired of screwing with this.
Can I speak with for myself?
It depends on what your lawyers say.
No, Your Honor, I believe it would be in her best interest at this time.
Okay. That is not okay with me.
Okay, go ahead. You can speak if the judge will allow it, but just know it's under my objection.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that from day one, we opposed this removal based upon information that has now been proven 3 times to the courts that the kids were not removed with any sort of illegal evidence that suggests that they were removed because of anything that we have done wrong. The charges or the allegations that were put against us from day one suggest that the kids were removed based upon somebody that has targeted us directly in the community. I've tried to say this over and over. The information that you're requesting from us is clearly a violation of our privacy and our children's privacy. There's nothing wrong with what the way that we run our household. We do not do things illegally. We do not do things unjustly. We are being completely 100% violated. Our word of mouth in this community has completely changed. We no longer can run a business. We no longer can be able to sustain any sort of peers or relationships within the community because we have been targeted 100%. And now we're being asked to put all of our public information out there based upon information that started from the beginning, a clear target, and nobody is looking into it. And so I'm just wondering, how is it possible for the courts to be able to ask us all of this information and go this much in depth into our personal lives, which is clearly a violation of our rights based upon information that is not even a good reason to be able to ask for this information. You cannot remove kids based upon something that I've proven in writing that has never been an issue. Very suggestively and very evidently that we have been targeted 100%. And you're now not even looking into the act of the actual target of why we were targeted and how we were targeted and the information that was given to prove that we were targeted. Now you're wanting to go further into our personal rights and our personal information, and our kids are taken care of. They have no suggestions at all that there is any sort of evidence that suggests that my kids are being abused, neglected, or starved or anything of that nature. There is nothing going on in this household that suggests my kids cannot be here. Why do I have to continue going forward with all of my personal rights being violated on information that you guys shouldn't even have me sitting here in this court hearing for? I don't understand that.
Ms. Fernandez, what about Mr. Ellison's drug use? What about his high drug levels? What do you think of that?
I'm going to tell you right now that he is not a habitual drug user. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to tell you that. But how did you find out that he had drug use in his system? By illegally getting us in the system and violating our privacy and our rights, and getting information saying that we are doing drugs, or he is doing drugs, or we are not doing drugs. How are you given information about our personal life if you don't even have the right to remove them and start asking us for our personal information? How is that even legal? How is it okay for you to use something against us when you couldn't have even removed the kids from our custody within a legal boundaries or policies or restrictions or guidelines anyway? Why is it okay for you to dig this deep into my family's life when there is nothing at all suggesting that you have the right to even have my kids in custody other than based upon what you are finding at an illegal violation of our rights? You should not be able to know any of this stuff about us. We are not these people. You have looked into our life so deeply based upon, I can tell you, you could look into my life this deep. You couldn't come into my house and take my kids out of their home without any evidence that my kids needed to be removed. And now what do we do? Keep letting you violate our rights based upon something that you removed my kids out of my home without any legal standing. And I've provided document after document after document that you have removed my kids based upon somebody and something that has been targeting directly to our family. Now we've lost our business. We've lost our relationship is struggling. My children have been separated as brothers. My children have been put in the hands of the man that abused me physically for 14 years. And now you're suggesting that they're going to stay there with him, and he was a stranger to them. He never once reached out to them and wanted anything to do with their life at all. How is that the best interest of the kids? How can you use something against us that you found out illegally? Because that is violating our rights. How did you even get to the point of removing my children from my home and making that to a legal standpoint? I have called lawyer after lawyer after lawyer. I have used Susan Potts and now Mandy McKay. I have begged and pleaded. I've even called 911 in this town, and I cannot get any response. And now I'm just being looked at as somebody that has some sort of mental health problems, when it's clear and evident that I do not have that I am being tortured and harassed and forced to give my personal information out on a case that they never even had the right to remove my kids from day one. We've opposed this removal. There's been no evidence that you guys had at all up against to the time that saying that removal was okay. There was no evidence saying that we are these people. The stuff that's in the affidavit isn't even true. I don't even know who they interviewed. There's addresses on this case and date of births on my children's date of birth that aren't even my children at my address. I mean, I don't know if you guys even have the right family, but you are completely 100% targeting people. And now you are making us and forcing us to go into our personal right. I don't think that this is okay. This is a clear violation of personal rights. And you have now added in the man that abused me domestically for 14 years that I am still recovering from. Austin is not abusive physically. I am not abusive physically, not to the point where we have to be interrogated and put into a position to where our personal relationship problems gets put out there. There's no domestic violence reports that are suggesting that the kids are becoming exposed to any of this. There's nothing. I have the kids scheduled to go through a homeschool program. Now, unfortunately, they are going to have regressed. The twins clearly have special needs. I clearly had a very strict homeschool plan that I was forced to actually do because of the school and their inability to be able to continue to keep an eye on them, to be able to offer them the IEP services that indeed they should have been offered. And then they put it on me and said that it was my fault when I was communicating directly with the school, which that put our family into a situation that I was no longer able to work. And then all of a sudden, somebody shows up at our door and says that they're here to take our kids based upon information that would never even be close to a reason that they would remove children or even look further into it. We just had a case that was out of Denton. I've never in my life ever dealt with any of this. I mean, no criminal history that suggests any of this is even correct. past family history saying this isn't correct. I have adult children that will tell you that this is not me and this is not Austin. We don't know who you guys are looking at. We have clearly been targeted in this community. And now I am being interrogated and being forced to do things in which is going to violate my privacy rights. And you guys are going to be able to hold that against me. Now tell me how this is clear and fair and even on any level. I have put in my own case review. I have had 0 response. And now all you guys continue to do is require. What about going back to day 1 and look at the accountability process of when you actually removed my children from me that suggests that there was no reason to even remove my children from the home day 1? So how can you continue to force and require us to do something that is not even close to who we are as people? And then you have the wrong addresses. I don't even know who these addresses are. I don't even know why you have different date of births on my kids. Do you have the right family? I mean, did you just pick this family out of who knows where? Or is this a previous tenant from here? What is going on? This is not us. You can look back all the way back, Austin and I's relationship. You can look at Joseph and I's relationship. I will have people, family members, credible witnesses that will suggest that this is not a lawful or a fair or a just removal from day 1. Why should we have to keep complying when our privacy rights are being violated? And what
Judge, objection. Can we get to a question and answer format if we're going to hear from Ms. Fernandez, please?
I think we're good. I think she's been able to say what she's going to say. And all I'm going to say is, Ms. Fernandez, the quicker you can do some of these services, do what I've ordered about 4 times, the quicker we can get out of your life, and that's it.
Okay, but why should I have to continue to abide by what you're asking me to abide on an illegal stance? I should not be in front of this court hearing today because CPS should have never been involved because it's the wrong people. This is not my family. Why should I comply with something that you are violating my rights? Why should you be able to force me to do something when this is clearly not the people that we are? And it's clearly not even the people that's written on the affidavit. And none of that stuff that's on that affidavit is even me or my kids or my husband or Austin. I mean, who are you guys talking about? This needs to be looked into very, very deeply. I mean, I got a call from Llano County today, a voicemail saying that I got a violation, a Llano County wildlife violation in March that they need to speak to me about. I don't know anything about this. Somebody is clearly targeting me and they've targeted my family. And for you guys to continue to require me to give you information about my personal life when my privacy has already been violated, apparently, and my information has been now put out in the community illegally. Why should I keep going into this? Why would you be able to sit there and hold my kids hostage from me illegally? And I have to comply, but you don't have to comply by the laws. These kids are very well taken care of. I have every single piece of IEP all the way from their kindergarten year, every single goal that they had, every single goal that they met, every time that I was involved in that. I have been the most involved, the most involved person and all the way around in my kid's life. Never once have I ever been even looked at by somebody in the community or in my family as this. And now I've been put as a monster on this piece of paper. And now
Judge, same objection. We're back where we started. We're in circles now, I'm afraid.
Okay, sustained. Okay, Ms. Potts, Ms. McCary, compliance sure speaks a lot.
So does you guys complying with the law. How can you legally ask me to comply with a law that you guys haven't complied with? How did you illegally remove my kids and put my back against the wall and ask me to continue to do what you want me to do and violate my privacy some more? How can you do this legally when you can't even legally have my children in the custody? You put my children in the hands of the man that it took me 14 years to get away from. You have done that. And now you have completely 100% in your position to enforce laws on both sides? What about the accountability of CPS? What about their accountability of removing my kids illegally from my home? And now I have to comply with the laws, but they don't have to comply with the laws. I mean, is this fair? And
Ms. Fernandez, I think the judge has ruled.
I mean, it's not a ruling that is acceptable, though. Why should they have to not follow the laws?
I'm going to ask you to stop. This is not in your best interest.
It's not in my best interest.
Thank you. I'm also adding to the order that the items in the department got. If there's more phone rules that y'all need to put in effect, y'all have teenagers. If y'all need to put those in effect, we can include them in this order. I just don't know. If y'all do have some things, let Mr. Wilson know. Also, okay. Well, Ms. Fernandez, I'm just going to tell you there are alternatives. If you're unhappy with me, you can talk to your lawyers about de novo and other things, but you're welcome to talk to your lawyers about that. Like I told everybody, y'all do have a service plan. You have to comply, or your parental rights can be subject to termination. We are going to consolidate this case into the except 22729. So that obviously makes us have the status hearing on that July 17th date. Okay.
What are my other options? Because I mean, are you guys not subject to follow the laws, but we are forced to give all of our personal information out after you break the laws? Where is that even lawful? Why are you guys holding us to our laws or the laws, and you aren't being held accountable for the things that you guys have violated from day one? You should have never, ever been able to remove my kids from the house based upon physical abuse resulting in bug bites, medical neglect for a child with diabetes. My child doesn't have diabetes. My other child didn't have bug bites. It's a clear rash that he has dealt with his whole life. The 3 officers that showed up at my door.
Your Honor, we've heard all this last time in this
And at the
objection.
house.
Okay, here's the deal. I don't give legal advice. You can talk to your lawyers about that, and we're surely not going to do it on YouTube and Zoom. So good luck to everybody, and I'll see y'all a couple of weeks on Zoom. Y'all agree, lawyers, y'all agree that the hearing can be held via Zoom, or do y'all agree in the courthouse? Okay. Okay, I'll see y'all then. Talk to your lawyers. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Jeanette Ochoa, she's on this one. Joseph Fernandez, Manny McCary, Becky Lang, somebody named Molly, I don't know who that is, Alexis Smith, and Melissa McClure. Anybody know Alexis Smith?
Isn't that the sister of the kids, the older sister?
Okay.
Judge, and if it says mommy, it is Miss Fernandez. I apologize for that. We've tried to get that corrected.
I'm a little tired of her not playing by the rules. Melissa McClure, Melissa isn't on this. What have we got? Okay, so status hearing. Kids, the big kids are on a visit with the father. Austin is in foster care. I don't know if we've done the hair strain on the boys yet, and the mother still hasn't complied with any of my prior orders. So, Mr. Rogers, you may begin.
Yes, Your Honor. Let me call Ms. Ochoa and walk through some of these issues that you just discussed. I guess, Ms. Ochoa, good morning. I guess the best way to handle this is to start going through some of the elements of the service plan and just talk about, status. The judge had mentioned the status of the hair strand test. Where are we on that?
For Ms. Fernandez?
Correct.
That has not been completed.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
Ms. Fernandez has now stated that she doesn't have a valid picture ID. So that she's currently working on that. We did not have knowledge of that at the beginning of this, or else I could have taken her myself.
Okay. Do you think you could arrange to go with her shortly and take care of that?
Yes. Yes, I could do it tomorrow.
Okay. Would you like for the judge to order Ms. Fernandez to go tomorrow with you? Very good. So let's move to the evaluations, the psychiatric and psychological evaluations.
Miss Fernandez completed her psychiatric, I believe, yesterday, and so that's pending.
Okay. So obviously we don't have the report yet.
No.
And the psychological will follow after the psychiatric comes in, I assume.
Yes.
Okay. What about any other drug testing beyond the hair strand? Has any occurred, or are we?
For Miss Fernandez, none.
Yeah. And then
Well, let me
Yeah.
clarify. None through the department.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. And has she completed any from another source?
So she submitted a dip test that she did at an urgent care clinic or a clinic.
Okay. Do you know what clinic that was performed at?
I don't at this time.
Did she give you any reason why she did that test as opposed to the court-ordered hair strand?
I believe at the time she wanted to just go to her own personal facility without the department's recommendations. She's leery of anybody having any of her medical records.
Okay. Do you have any idea whether that dip test was observed?
I don't know if it was observed.
Would the department place a lot of reliance on the results of that test?
No.
Okay. What about therapy for Ms. Fernandez?
My understanding is she has set up an appointment for Deb Tabor for the 25th of next week.
Okay. And you mentioned about the medical record hesitancy. Has Ms. Fernandez executed any kind of medical releases in favor of the department?
Not that I know of. I have not received any.
Okay. Have you received any medical records from Ms. Fernandez or any
No.
medical provider? Okay.
May I speak?
Keep going, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Ochoa, what's the status of any visitation?
So we have visitation virtually Tuesday and Thursdays from 12:30 to 12:45 weekly.
Okay. Did those occur in the last week or two?
They've occurred. Yes, we had one yesterday. Neither parent showed up.
Okay. What about the one before that?
The one before that, mom did show up on that one. Mr. Ellison did not.
How did that visit go?
They're okay. We have to kind of redirect with reminding them of the Children's Bill of Rights. But overall, they're okay. They're quick. They're 15 minutes.
Okay. So regarding the Children's Bill of Rights, do you believe it would be beneficial for the court to remind the parents that does apply to this case?
Yes, please.
Very good. And also, my understanding is that there could be an eviction pending. Can you describe that?
Well, my understanding is there is an eviction pending, but I just currently received a text from Ms. Fernandez stating that somebody would be paying this month's or next month's rent. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I also have a job that I'm
May
starting.
be quiet. It's not your turn.
Okay. So there could be some instability in the home situation, but it may not be as immediate as we feared when we previously discussed this.
Correct.
Okay. Did the text indicate who would be paying the rent?
She didn't say, I believe a friend.
Okay. So the judge has recently signed an order consolidating the cases. So if you're okay with that, let's talk a little bit about Isaac and Isaiah. My understanding is they're in New Mexico.
Yes.
Okay. Any concerns with them on their extended visit with Dad?
No, none.
Okay. How are they doing to your knowledge?
They're doing okay. very respectful. They're adjusting. They're having a good summer so far.
Okay. How have you communicated with them?
I see them on the virtual calls. They're on the virtual calls every 2 times a week. And I talk to Mr. Fernandez pretty much every other day.
Okay. And that's kind of by phone or?
By phone, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Shifting to Austin Jr. What's the status of his foster placement?
So Austin Jr., a 30-day discharge was submitted for him. His behaviors caused this to happen. He's struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
With the
Okay.
structure and the rules, and that's been a problem.
So it sounds like we're going to need to do placement for Austin Jr. in the short term.
Yes, I've submitted it to the child placing agency or unit, I'm sorry, and so that's pending.
Okay. Have any relatives been asked whether they could be a placement for Austin Jr.?
Yes,
Okay. What was the feedback on that?
they are currently not able to meet his needs at this time.
Okay. Is the department aware of any relative placements who might be suitable for Austin Jr. who are able to take him?
Not at this time. I was given some names by Miss Grandma Nyla Ellison, but that isn't panning out right now. I know I've recently heard about a brother, but I don't have his information. So maybe after this hearing, I'll get some more feedback on maybe additional family, but at this time, no.
Okay. Let's shift gears to Mr. Ellison now. Is he working any services for the department?
He drug tested.
Okay. Was that on his color?
No.
Okay. Can you explain the circumstances of that?
So my understanding, because I was out on vacation during the week I was out, his color, I wasn't called that week, apparently. I don't know what happened. So Miss Lang informed me that because of that, she had him go test the following Monday of that week so that we could at least have a test in. The Monday he did go test, but that he was still supposed to call the rest of the week for his actual color. His color was called on Wednesday. He informed me he did not call that day to see if his color was called. He called on Thursday instead and told me that that was his color day, which I informed him it was not. So I told him to go ahead and go test anyway, and I don't know that he did.
Okay. What were the results, if you know, of the test that he took on the Monday of that week?
So those results came back positive dilute for methamphetamines.
Okay. Did he complete his OSAR yet?
Okay, so Becky's shaking her head, yes.
Okay. I know when we discussed, we were working on that. I didn't know if it was finished.
I didn't know. I
Okay.
didn't know either. So, okay.
Okay, so good. Any concerns regarding Mr. Ellison or any services that he needs to kind of shift his focus to?
I mean, he's working on it. He just needs to go ahead and go to OSAR and just work the service plan.
Okay.
He seems willing. I know there's some obstacles and, it's hard to communicate with him because I try to call, he'll text back, but I think with more communication, we can get a lot of what he needs accomplished.
Okay. And this is a status hearing, so the service plans have been provided to the parents and their counsel?
Yes.
And you're asking the court to make those in order of the court today?
Yes.
Okay. And we've already talked about the Children's Bill of Rights. Let's see. One question I have, Your Honor, I see Mr. Fernandez is in the courtroom today. We're pleased with how things are going with him, but just for the record, I'd like to ask for a general appearance on him since he is in New Mexico. It's very difficult to get him served.
Mr. Wood, will y'all agree to that, obviously?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Marcus. Ms. Ochoa, what would the department like to see with respect to Ms. Fernandez's visits?
Well, at this time, we'd like them to cease until she becomes compliant with at least drug testing.
Okay.
Along with, of course, the rest of the service plan. But if we could get a drug test in, that would be a start.
Okay. Is there anything else you need to request from the court today?
No.
Also, Your Honor, we have received, I believe, a copy of there apparently is a Galveston divorce case. It appears that a final decree was submitted to the court, but not signed by the court. We can investigate that further, but if feasible, I guess we'd like to ask to consolidate that because that would get kind of Mr. Fernandez into the case, especially if we're looking at him for some sort of future placement.
Your Honor, I think Ms. McCary may have an update on that.
Okay, because all I had seen so far was an unsigned final decree. So let's get if you have an update, Ms. McCary.
Sure. So I have talked to the Galveston attorney, and she submitted the signed decree to the judge and the AOP for Austin Jr. And I believe what's happening though is that the judge is just sitting on it to find out what happens in this case.
Okay.
And if you read that decree, there were no visitation or custody determinations in the decree at all. It just said the parties are working it out. So I kind of think that's what's happening, but I haven't checked in. The attorney's name is Leslie. She's with Legal Aid down there. And I haven't checked in with her to find out if anything else has happened, but that was the update from her.
Okay. Well, we'll continue to work to.
Carrie, between the Ellisons, between Mom and Mr. Ellison?
No, it's a divorce between Mr. Fernandez and Miss Fernandez.
Okay, I was saying that.
But because Austin Jr. was born while they were still married, they needed it.
Yeah.
So okay.
I don't think I knew that. Oh yeah, duh. I guess I knew that because they're still married. Hello. Yes. Okay, thank you. Good update.
Okay, so we'll keep working to make sure that we've kind of got Mr. Fernandez sort of in this court and in this proceeding to the extent that things are going well in New Mexico. That would allow the court to take some actions if necessary as far as placement. We're early in the case yet, but we just want to make sure that's a possibility. I have nothing further for Ms. Ochoa, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions of Ms. Ochoa?
Your Honor, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Ms. Ochoa, first, I want to thank you for working so hard on this case and helping us. And in fact, we had set up a monthly meeting with you and Ms. McCary and Ms. Julie and I to assist Ms. Fernandez. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we made substantial progress at the last meeting where you were present. I believe we got the psychological done. We got the court application done. You also psychiatric, thank you. And then you reviewed also with her service plan in person at that time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And again, I want to thank you for making that extra effort. I really appreciate it. And I do appreciate you offering to do the drug testing because as I understand it, there's only one car, is that correct, between Mr. Ellison and Ms. Fernandez?
Yes.
And that Mr. Ellison is working very hard to, keep the rent in place. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is also it's also my understanding that Ms. Fernandez sent us a text this morning saying she has a job that she's hoping to start on Friday. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
Okay. And that she's trying to get a car loan so that she has an ability to get to her appointments. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the psychiatric was virtual, right?
The psychiatric, yes.
Yes. At our next meeting or maybe before then, could you send us the releases that you need and then maybe we could get Ms. Fernandez to sign those at that next meeting?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully once she gets a car and gets a job, that'll be helpful both to Mr. Ellison and to herself. It is my understanding that they are both still living together because of their financial being, very tight financially. There's no way for both of them to have a separate place. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. As far as the visit yesterday, I was recalling that I saw a text that said to Ms. Fernandez that the psychiatric was the most important thing for her to complete yesterday, even if she had to miss the visit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rogers, next witness.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Potts, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I believe I have provided an update through Ms. Ochoa for all the new things that Ms. Fernandez has worked so hard to do to get a job, working on her car, to get the psychiatric completed and so forth. So we're good.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lang, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Judge. I would like to provide a little summary to get Jeanette up to date on some things as well and the court. So we did, Mr. Ellison did complete his OSAR with Holly Henderson, and I do have the documents. Jeanette, I'll be forwarding them to you on an email after I finish this hearing today. And they recommended IOP, and there's documents he completed for being able to register for his IOP. He was able to contact Amika Bailey today to set up the individual counseling and protective parenting, and we just sent Jeanette a note, and she's working on the 2054 for that. The thing left behind is the psychological evaluation, and before Mr. Ellison leaves today, we'll make sure he calls Timothy Dayheim and sets that up. He is calling the hotline. Today is his color. He understands he needs to go. He did call last week or the week that, Judge, it was odd, and Karen Gayosa can tell you it happened on two of my clients. The color was magenta one day and silver one day. It was the week of 4th of July. So I had two clients that didn't have their color called that week. So I had Mr. Ellison go Monday. He did call on that Wednesday, and it was his color. It just, by the time he was busy and didn't get over there by 3 o'clock. So indeed, he did not test, but he wanted the court to know he did call. I'm sorry, the color is green today.
Yes,
Oh, okay. His color is blue, so he doesn't go today. I apologize. So really that's it, Judge. He definitely wants to keep doing his video visits. Jeanette, he's working. He doesn't always have cell connection where he is. But if we can give him a time, I'm sure you've probably done that already, and just reinforce what time he needs to be somewhere he can get connection. He wants to see his kiddo, and he's ready to get those 2 clean UA so he can have in-person visits. That's critical at this stage of the game. I think that's all we have, Judge.
Can I just, it's Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30, 12:45. That's what it's been from the beginning. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Wood, what do you need?
Nothing, Judge. I mean, I've emailed with the attorney in the divorce case as well, and I think that lines up with what Ms. McCary was saying as far as needing an acknowledgement of paternity, and that's all that I think they need to move forward.
Okay. Yeah, and then we still, have, like I said, have this to deal with. So, okay. CASA, where are y'all, Ms. Gilson?
Things are slowly moving along. We did, it was a little
You cut out. I didn't
hair strand test in New Mexico, but I did find yes,
You're
ma'am?
cutting out.
But anyway, we got the oh, can you hear me yet?
Yes, I can hear you now.
No.
No, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, we were able to arrange a hair strand test for the twins, and I believe Ms. Ochoa is arranging that for Austin young Austin. And, you know, it's a shame that they put in the 30-day notice because he seems like now he's going to camp, now he's happy, you know, but he was really struggling there for a while. You know, Ms. Fernandez is not happy with the children being gone and would like for them to, I'm just throwing this out there, would like for them to be home before school starts.
Home, like in her house?
Yes,
She
ma'am.
weren't even in school. Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions of Ms. Gilson? Miss Wright, what's up?
Kids are doing good. Whoever sent the link out for the parents' virtual visits, they sent it to me, so it's on my calendar forever. So I pop in every now and then, and I've observed mom and dad and the kids. And then yesterday, neither parent was there, so we just let the boys visit together, and they had a good little visit. They're doing well. The twins are doing really well at Mr. Fernandez's home. So they're real happy, and they were talking about all the activities they've been doing, and they had plans for yesterday to go have lunch and to a park and play sports, and so they're doing really well. Little Austin, he was struggled in the first placement, gave 30-day notice because they had some health issues, but then this one, it seems like it's behavioral, and so hopefully we can get him into therapy and let him work some of that out. I think he really wants to be with his dad, so hopefully that'll be some motivation to Mr. Ellison to get some clean drug tests and make a path forward so the kiddo can come home. But they're doing well.
Okay, here's the scheduling order. Everybody get out pens. I'm gonna approve the service plan and make it order of the court. Next permanency hearing is 10/9. Second permanency hearing is 1/8. Final trial is 4/9/25, and our new dismissal date is 5/26/25. Hold on a minute. Yeah, okay, here's the order. No visits for the mom or the father until court order and service plan compliant. That includes FaceTime. Once they're back on FaceTime, if there's any violation of the Children's Bill of Rights, the visits are going to cease until further court order. I'm tired of screwing around with people not complying with court orders that have been going on for a couple of months. I'm done. Do things the right way or else. And I hate to do that to the boys, but I also hate for people to screw around and be in violation of my orders when they could be held in contempt of court. Y'all know what you need to do. I'm tired of hearing mental health problems. It might be methamphetamine problems. I don't know what it is, but until we get to the bottom of it, I'm not going to know. So, and the boys might just stay in New Mexico. I'm real close to that. And so what's going to happen come school time? What are we going to do with the boy? Where are they coming back to, Mr. Rogers? Do we have a placement for the big kids? I don't know.
I think right now the department's pretty satisfied with them in New Mexico, Your Honor.
Right. I would rather them stay in New Mexico than go into foster care. So that would be my option.
Me too. But Mr. Ellison's been on this case long enough through the other case with the mother. He knows he has to comply what he has to do with. And if he wants to get his child back, maybe he's going to have to make a decision, whether he stays with the mother or he chooses his kid. That ball is in his court. But we're not going to drag this out forever and ever and ever. I mean, it's not that hard to go have a hair strand. It's not that hard to call in for UA. I got the problems maybe last week, but mom doesn't work. Dad works.
I am the mother of Austin.
Ma'am, you need to be quiet. Dad works whenever, figure it out. Figure it out. You just got to go to Marble Falls. I bet people go to Marble Falls to go to Walmart or the HEB or go do stuff. So there you go. That's the order of the court.
And Judge, does that apply are we still doing virtual or?
No, we're not doing anything.
Is that sure?
No. And did the big boy's hair strand?
We're working on that. Costa's working with Mr. Fernandez.
Well, we need to do it now.
Yes, we're
like tomorrow. Because we're not, this is dragging on too long too. It's getting packed close to the 3-month time. So that needs to be done, I'm going to say by August 1st.
August 1st. Can I ask a question? So the 30 days.
They should have it done by the end.
What? Miss Gilson, did you say something?
End of the week.
What?
This
Miss
is
Ochoa, what?
The 30 days ends when? When is?
Okay, hold on. We have a big problem.
Miss Ochoa, go on.
The kid, I know you extended the visit for 30 days. When is, I don't know when the cutoff is that we need to, are we just going to keep them? Because the first perm is 10/9 and school starts. Are we bringing them back? I'm not sure what we're doing.
I don't want to bring them back. They can stay there. They can stay for another 30 days as far as I'm concerned. Then we can figure it out when we get closer to school starting. Figure out when school starts there and here.
Okay.
Mr. Cho, just track the dates for when the extended 30 days is over so we can request a hearing if necessary before that.
That's what I was asking.
Right.
I don't know when the extended 30 days ends.
Okay.
I'll get with you, Jeanette.
Okay. Thank you. Y'all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I have been telling my lawyer that this is not the case. This is the wrong case. This is not our case. Austin Jr. is not, I am his biological mother.
Krista, the court has already ruled and the case is over, and
Hold
you
on a
did,
minute.
you did talk to,
Susan.
you did talk to the judge at the last 2 hearings.
Right, but this is, okay, I need to say something. There is, suggestively, there is another child in this county, I've been trying to tell you guys this.
Miss Potts, you and me need to go to a breakout room.